For those of you who know boot brands, if I showed you this plain, simple, rectangular box, bit longer than you'd normally expect of a shoe box, I think you'll know what brand this is. How you going? Welcome back to Bootlosophy. I'm filming on Wadjet country here in Perth in Western Australia. I received this pair of Parkhurst boots a couple of weeks ago. I received them just before I went for 2 weeks worth of traveling for work, a week in Melbourne and a week in Darwin in the Northern Territory. And I on purpose did not open them, even though I was dying to get into them. I was so excited, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I baited my impatience so that I could bring you an unboxing. So this is a pair of Parkhurst boots. I'm really excited because this is on the 618 last, which is from Parkhurst's Portuguese factory. 618, I think I much prefer to the 602M, and I even prefer it to my previous favorite, the 602, the old one. And the reason I'm excited is Parkhurst has so far, up until now, produced the Allen boot on the 618 last. That's the plain toe boot. This is their first Richmond boot in the 618. This is a cap toe. Let's get into it. Let's go straight in. The Parkhurst box, as everybody probably knows by now if they watch my channel. And by the way, I think this is Parkhurst boot number 22 or 23. Don't quote me. I have sold one, so it might be 22 or 23. Yep, so what I was saying is everybody who watches my channel will realize that Parkhurst boots come in one box only. It comes in a shipping box that forms the overall box. There isn't a pretty box inside, which I quite like because it means, less waste. Because, most of us will probably just throw away the shipping box anyway. So 2 simple bits of tape, and out it comes. Boot in a boot bag. Sometimes the boot bag's just folded in, but as in this case, the boot actually comes in it. Parkhurst Buffalo, because that's where they're based, in Buffalo, New York. Spare laces. I assume there are laces on the boot. The usual card from Andrew. Thank you for your support. Enjoy and wear well. Signed, Andrew. The boots are separated by a bit of tissue and then also protected by these boot bags. So let me first get rid of the box. And then I'll undo one boot bag after another. And here you'll see why I'm excited. This is dark olive waxed Roughout from CF Stead. That is absolutely beautiful color. Like, you expected to see a greener sort of olive green, but this is dark olive. This is the difference between a green Tuscany olive that you get in a martini and a dark brown one that you get as pre-dinner snacks. You get what I mean? It's a waxed Roughout, I said, by Charles F. Stead. I think, although I've never had one, I think this is a similar sort of tannage to Horween's chamois or chamois. It's a very oily, kind of waxy feel to the surface. And this is a Roughout, as opposed to being a buffed nubuck. And you can see the smooth grain side is there. So it's full grain, it's just the wrong way around. Let's open the other boot and I'll show you. Oh no, I'll keep going with this. So they come with leather laces, and you just saw me take out some cotton laces out there. Semi-gusseted tongue, gusseted up to there. The hardware is nicely backed, and that is so smooth. The way that's pulled back and pushed back is so smooth. The hardware is antique brass. And yes, these are folded back bits of metal, but I've always found particularly with the European models, that these are very sturdy. When I say European models, Parkhurst used to make their boots in upstate New York. After COVID, that factory shut down, or during COVID, and Andrew shifted his production to Spain, and in this case, Portugal. If you look at the contrasting stitching, quadruple stitch, see for yourself, nicely patterned. Oh, I bought these on sale, by the way. Andrew had a sale on recently, so I saw these and bought them on a sale. Double stitching on the single piece backstay, heel counter inside, Celastic, I think. But that contrasting stitch on the dark olive is just gorgeous. As I said, this is the first Richmond that's been produced in the 618 last in the Portuguese factory. And I've been waiting for the Capto Richmond to come out in that last. You can see in the last, oh, by the way, this is the Parkhurst proprietary Commando sole. It's a bit like a raised 430 Vibram 430 mini lug, except these are quite raised. But it's like that because of the way these are pushed in, and you can then sew through a channel without exposing the stitches. And this little bit of roughness is actually molded into the pattern. And yes, as you can see, it is a stitch down, double row stitch down. So the uppers come down, flared out in the front 270 degrees, stitched to the midsole, and one of the stitches comes all the way through to the outsole. It's machine stitched, reasonably clean and consistent. These stitches have kind of got a bit lost in the staining of the edge, I think, as you can see there, but the others are white and showing through. The rear part is nailed in and glued. So you can see there the uppers, the midsole, the rubber. This looks to me like a double midsole. I'll need to ask. And then a heel stack, and then the top lift, nailed in, as you can see by the shiny nails. Nice leather. This is gorgeous. This reminds me of the another pair of Richmonds I have in the dark brown reverse mohawk, raised reverse mohawk. It has that kind of oily feel to it. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the other boot. And really, this is just to provide a comparison. Again, the stitching is, I mean, that stitching is near perfect, isn't it? Just along there. Clean, consistent, very even. By the way, this is a real toe cap. There's two pieces of leather. As Andrew describes it, imagine you had a plain toe Allen and then you just put another piece of leather on top. The stiffener and the heel counter are, I believe, Celastic. It does have a shank. There's a steel shank down the middle there. And there is a cork bed despite the stitch down. Yeah, look, both boots look absolutely perfect. I've been waiting 2 weeks to try these on, so let's go. Here we go, usual moment of truth. I'm a size 8.5D, and these are size 8s in Parkhurst sizing. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. I have no tension or worry these days anymore about buying Parkhurst boots because I know what size fits me, and they are so consistent that you'd never get it wrong. Oh, the leather in these are super comfortable. I think I prefer the leather laces because they show off quite nicely against that green. I'm just going to tie this loosely. Obviously the laces are uneven. That feels just great. I could bear to wear thicker socks. I'm just wearing cotton socks at the moment. I usually wear my wool boot socks, but these are fine. Speed hooks are easy to get under. There you go. I love that color, don't you? Absolutely gorgeous dark olive color. Charles F. Stead waxed Roughout. It's oil tanned and then wax finished on top. And you can actually feel the hand. I wouldn't say it's greasy, it's waxy. And the Roughout is a fabulous texture. The contrast stitching is brilliant. Yes, sir. Comfy. Not going to need, in my experience, much break-in. I mean, Parkhursts never do, really. Just absolutely exceptional in terms of how they wear in reasonably quickly. What can I say? Do I need to say anything? They feel good. They bend where you expect the boot to bend, where your foot bends. The comfort underneath is, again, as expected, really good. Because the 618 Last has a bit of a cantilever here where it tucks in, it helps to support your arch. I have a fairly flat foot, and that often means that if it's missing arch support, my feet get tired very easily. And I pronate a little bit, which is where the foot turns in when I walk. And this sort of last keeps me more regularly flat. Just pull the jeans up so you see what they look like. Regular 6-inch service boot. Oh, this is so nice. I've got so many nice boots. How am I going to wear them all? Oh, I don't know. This is another nice one to add to the collection. All right, guys, let's wrap up and I'll tell you about the rest of it. Okay, so there you go for the unboxing and the try-on. I am perpetually pleased by Andrew Savisco's boots. They're really well made. Doesn't matter what factory they're from. In fact, I honestly think their Spanish and Portuguese manufactured boots are of better quality than the upstate New York factory. They're certainly more consistent, is my opinion. I'm always really pleased to get a pair of Parkhursts. I've said publicly, why do you need to pay the price of a Viberg when you can get the same sort of service boot coolness as well as all these incredible variety of uppers from Parkhurst? There is one thing. I think the consistency of stitching and construction with Vibergs is indisputable. That's for sure. But if you want the looks, this is pretty good. I said these were on sale, but they're actually seconds. So you'll see things like, I'll just show you this. You'll see things like where the stitching has been stitched and then the sanding of the edges has come too close. That's why these come through as seconds. But by gum, these are absolutely gorgeous. Size 8. In my size, I'm an 8.5D normally. This is a size 8. Andrew doesn't offer different widths, but the 618 is a combination last. It's got I think a B or a C heel, similar sort of waist, and it opens out to an E and almost double E at the ball of the foot. Plenty of room in the toe box, despite what is quite an almond-shaped toe. It's not sharp by any means, but it's almond-shaped. Interestingly enough, I think if you compare this to a pair of Allen boots without the visual distortion of the toe cap, you would think that this has a pointier toe than this one with the toe cap. And I think that means that it's not a pointy toe. I think that means that the the visualization of what you see is what makes your mind trigger off, because that looks perfectly rounded to me, doesn't it? Look, absolutely great. Website down below if you want to have a look. I think there are still versions of this available, so go and have a look. And don't forget to click on like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Otherwise, keep coming back, because I will bring you later on a full review of these once I've been able to research them, talk to Andrew, see how they're different to others, and whether there was any difficulty in making the toe cap, because that's what I've been waiting on. I think it's a prettier boot than a plain toe. And then come back and watch some more boot reviews. Until next time, take care out there and see you again soon.